working on a 99 2000 Ford Mustang here. Now you want to sit here and listen to talk to this backstory because it's got quite a bit going on here. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to replace the computer. It runs okay, for the exception of a few things, and a lot of things are related to some of the issues that I'm going to get into shortly. So the car was there was an attempt to steal a car. Some things were damaged, and a lot of stuff was replaced. So they replaced quite a few things to get to try to bypass the security system. If I recall, the computer was replaced, the generic control module, the steering column, and still, from what I understand, they still had to come out and get the keys program. It's a Hispanic lady car, so there's some language barrier there. So, but that's the gist that I got. All right. Now here's the thing. The check engine light's on for the intake runner control system, and I'm looking in the back here, and I can't see that shit to save my life. And I'm like, does this even have an intake runner system? The fans are staying on. The AC doesn't work. It idles horribly, and I'm going to show you all that in a second. So the coolant temperature sensors were replaced. Let me show you that. I had to go back over and repair the wiring because whoever tried to replace it just left the wires exposed. Now, I checked the resistance value. I have ground and I have a voltage reference, and how those temperature sensors work. It's a varying resistor, and it changes the resistance value to where it alters the feed voltage to where it reflects in the gauge. And this is how we get a change in potential, which will make the gauge rise and fall. Now here's the thing, I got voltage and ground, but one of the main things with this car is that the coolant temperature sensor is at negative 40 degrees. What's up with that? It's a brand new sensor on there. I even found the old sensor sitting in there, plugged it in there, and it was a no-go. I even looked at the PID data, put bias voltage to it to drop the voltage, and the computer didn't reflect. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do a little more investigating and get myself together before I make any type of proclamations or whatever that can't get my shit out right. Proclamations that there's like a computer issue going on. So, looking at wiring diagrams, I found out, I compared the 2002 computer to a 2000 computer. They bolt right up to it, no problem. However, the fan circuit on one of the pins, I got it on my phone here. I didn't write it down, but I'll cut this clip off and come back to it. But the pins for the fan is unpinned in one of the computers. Also, the cylinder temperature pin 66, if I recall, is depinned. Okay, so the thing is, from what I understand, this goes to the cluster, and I guess it goes from the cluster to the engine control module to determine the temperature. Now, the 2002 into 4s or whatever around that time, since the computers are different, they have a cylinder head temperature. And from what I understand, there's probably like 2 temperature sensors on the back of the head there. This doesn't have that. And that's why I'm like, you know what? They put the wrong computer in here. That's how I got to that. So the computer utilizes the temperature sensor to determine a variety of drivability, a variety of running conditions. So that is a very integral sensor there, because it has a significant alterations on running conditions. Huge significance, from the idle to the emissions to going through its testing phases for the drive cycle monitors. To enrich it needs those 4 enrichments. So when the car starts up, it has a fuel dump, and it basically monitors the regulation of the fuel based off the temperatures. It's one of the most integral sensors besides the mass airflow sensor, but you really need that. And unfortunately, in the PID data, that's showing negative 40 degrees. So again, the pins, and when I compared them, there, if you just basically put those two wiring diagrams together and just compare what's missing, you'll see what I'm referring to. But from what I found, there was two pins that were not properly connected, or that didn't have any pins, and I'm like, the computer's bad. Now, one thing I could have done was go to the pin on, even though it's the same wire harness but different computer, go to that pin, jump the circuit for the coolant temperature sensor and see if it reflects. If it reflects in the computer, then I know the computer is the problem there. So that's one method, but I didn't do that because it's obvious the fan is staying on, the coolant temperature is at negative 40, and then the person who previously repaired or tried to fix the vehicle changed to put the improper computer in there. And being that we have an improper computer, we have these running conditions. And I'm going to start it up so you can see it. So hopefully this backstory will give you some insight as to why I'm putting a computer in there. And I'm going to point some things out, and hopefully the sound wouldn't supersede my voice, because I know y'all love my voice. Alright, you hear that buzzing noise? That's from the idle air control valve. I'm not going to say it's a huge deal. This is coming from the intake. Now the fans are on, the car is still cold. So again, the temperature is reading negative 40 degrees, but the fans are staying on. It has a poor idle. When you rev it up, it want to choke. Sometimes it does. There it goes. It has like a hiccup. Now, I'm going to pull up the PID data and show you some things, but another thing we can look at is the oxygen sensors, because the car should technically be rich or an open loop fault because of the sensor here. So come to think of it, might be irrelevant. I'm going to shut it down, show you the computer location. We're going to replace the computer. I do have a remanufactured one, and I programmed the keys. All right, I'm getting logged in with this computer. The one thing you want to notice also, if the VIN number match. Now, this computer that's in here, the computer is getting replaced, and the VIN number doesn't match the vehicle. So that's one key thing you could also look at and see if the computer has been replaced with an improper computer. All right. I want to also show you the PID data I was referring to. We're going to do a comparison once I get the new computer in there, and that the temperature was negative 40 degrees. No, the instrument cluster, here it goes. GEN, no, HEC is instrument cluster. Now, I want to point out that I can't begin to tell you the crap that I've been through trying to get this key program, and I wound up getting a bad key from Lowe's. So if you're in the HEC module, go to this PID here, number of keys stored. This will tell you if you have a key that was incapable of being programmed. So if you try to program a car with with two keys, because you have to have a minimum of two keys to do this, and it doesn't tend to go through the process, just look and see if it's only one key that it's accepting, and that'll let you know that you have a bad key. It took me, I can't begin to tell you, I went through this process several times. I mean, 6 hours, and I got a story for you, man. I can't begin to tell you. So yeah, it's not going to be in there. We're going to go to the generic portion, and that should show me coolant temperature. We're going to go to live data. Maybe it was a PID that I just couldn't see, but I know I've been through that multiple times when I was diagnosing this damn car, man. I couldn't find it to save my damn life. I just couldn't. There we go. Engine coolant temperatures at negative 40 degrees Celsius. Alright, let's go ahead and put this other computer in there. Alright, we're going to work on getting this car programmed, and I'm going to show you right now that it doesn't start up. It just hit, but that was it. It's not starting. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. If you have a MS906BT, we're going to go ahead and start programming the keys. I do have them separated, so here's my 2 keys. You have to have 2 keys. You have to have 2 keys. I cannot stress that to you enough. Don't think you can get away with it with just 1 key, because I did that dumb shit. And I'll say that story for a little. I'll give you that story in a little bit. So no. So we're going to go to hot function here. If you have a MS906BT, we're going to go to immobilizer and keys, passive anti-theft system. Alright. And we're going to go okay. This is going to take 10 minutes. And again, I cannot stress to you, have 2 keys. 2 or more keys. 2 keys at minimum. Don't do what I did. And we're just going to wait 10 minutes. But in the meantime, I got a good old story for you. Don't forget to put this on a charge too. Let me do that. Alright, so here's our current status. I just had to hook a charger up to it. But real quick, man. So I had to bright out. This is why I say have 2 keys. Don't have 1, because I have had a Honda key before to where I could like put the key, stack the key, and then like trick the system in a way. I have done that, but this car is not going to do that. It needs to see a blank key or a different code in there. So I cannot begin to tell you the amount of stress I've been through that day when I was diagnosing this car, because long story short, I went inside of here, erased the key that was current, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put the key back in there twice, and once I reintroduce it, it'll accept it. That's not the case. It knows. So I had to go to Lowe's, get a key. I took it out my diagnostic fee because it was my ignorance. She had another key, but the car came from 40 minutes away. And I went to Lowe's, got a key, came back. The key was $70-something too, for just a blank key. This is not a Lowe's key, by the way. $70 for a blank key. Come back, try to go through the process again of programming, and it wouldn't work. And I'm thinking maybe it's me and it's the sequence I'm doing. I went through this, mind you, several times, not once, not twice, several times, and it got to the point where like I'm gonna find out what the fuck's going on with the car, okay? And if I have to stay up late at night, and it got to the point where I finally got mentally exhausted around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, I called a locksmith, told him the situation, told him what's going on, and he's like, oh, it's dumb, oh, it's late at night. I'm like, dude, I'm saying it to myself, it was 24 hours locksmith service. Long story short, I continued for an hour and a half, tried to program the key, found out a little bit more key pieces of information. Guy never shows up. Called another guy, because cost wasn't a thing. The guy was like, and they're gonna price gouge. Well, what the first guy said, well, it's gonna be a $75, but it's at night, it's Durham. Like, what's the cost? Well, $100, that's fine. Come on out here. I'll take care of you. Okay, I'll call you back. Hour and a half later, nothing. Text him. If you're not gonna come, just let me know so I can call somebody else. Nothing. Didn't even call the next day. Long story short on that one, I called another locksmith. Again, price gouging. He says, well, I normally charge $125, but it's late and it's Durham. It's gonna be $150, $175. How much? Here I am. How much is it, man? Just to come out here and program the key. Oh, tell you what. I told him the whole story. I'll come out for $200. Just come on. Here's the fucked up part. The guy comes out, pulls the lock out, pulls the lock cylinder out, put his dummy key in there, and he had an uncut key. He goes to the system, takes 10 minutes, got to go through it, goes through the process, programs the one original key and his key, but wound up keeping his key when he finished programming the car. And he goes to leave. I'm like, hey, I thought I was supposed to get 2 keys. Oh, yeah, because they were trying to rush. Like, yeah, you got another call come in. I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to get 2 keys. I mean, what am I paying for if the guy's coming out? If I didn't have a key, I would still have to pay $200. Correct me if I'm wrong. He came to program a key. If I didn't have a key, still got to cut a key to program it. All right. He's like, well, I said, look, just program the other key I got. You know, because I understand. I see what he's doing. He's trying to keep his product, save money. And so he goes to log back in, 10 more minutes, and he, since the key that I got from Lowe's is already cut, he got one of the other guys that was with him go to try to cycle the key on and off to see if the security light would go off and accept the key. Guess what? This is how I found out Lowe's sold me a bad key, because it didn't accept the key. Now he has to rush to his truck, or else the system is going to probably kick him out, and he got to wait 10 more minutes. And he got another call waiting. Rushes and cuts this key, which takes 15 seconds. Goes back, and I would say is forced to have to give me a key. And it's disappointing and it's sad, man. I feel bad for women, especially because people get over on women a lot more than us guys, even though us guys get fucked over well over women, but it's more recognized. But man, like, you know, if it's poor business to capitalize off of someone that is definitely in need, but being that it wasn't a financial issue to the point where, the financial issue wasn't a problem. The situation wasn't a problem to the point where I was capable of recognizing what the hell was going on. Like, if he's screwing me over, trying to cop out and not give me an extra key, what is he doing with everybody else, and how much money is he saving as a result of it with poor business practice? You know, that was fucked up. I will never forget that. And I will never do that to somebody else. So that was a story with that key there. And it was around 1:30 in the morning. I slept peacefully. Had a lot more information. That's how I found out. Well, we can go to the instrument cluster and see if the key is actually recognized. So it wasn't me. It wasn't my equipment. It was simply Lowe's gave me a bad key. And how to justify that, I don't know 100%, but I will say, if I had to deduce the issue, it would be the fact that I got a brand new key. That's the only variable. And the key that came with it originally was working perfectly fine. So it wasn't any fault of me. It was a simple fault that I got bad new parts. And I say it to say, this week has been nothing but getting bad new parts. You know, but I figure if anybody has the volume that I got as a one-man band, and the consistency of staying with one place, like O'Reilly's is one of the common places you'll hear me go to, then, you know, likely you're gonna have problems. So we're almost done, man. My lips are smoking. All right, we're getting close to entering the PATS system. Should be a parameter where I will go to, because it will go through the entire procedure. Alright, we got access granted. So I'm simply going to just follow some simple directions. We're going to go to parameter reset. Required when new passive theft anti-system module PCM is programmed or installed function. This function also resets keep alive memory, which is necessary. Alright, warning. After you have exchanged a passive anti-theft system, PATS instrument cluster, virtual image cluster, or hybrid electrical cluster, which is what is considered HEC module, 2 keys are required to start vehicle. Would you like to continue? Yes. I still have my one key in there. All right, keep alive memory has been reset. We're gonna go to OK. Passive anti-theft and ignition key code is necessary. Warning: 2 keys are required to start the vehicle. All known keys were erased. Now you must go program to vehicle. At least 2 keys. So now I'm going to hit the OK button. All right. Here, so I'm just going to follow the directions, cycle the key on and off. We're going to pay attention to the theft light. Swap the keys. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull this out. See if it worked. I was supposed to take the stuff out, but we'll see what happened. Yeah, no. Take that out. Put another one in there. Should have waited a little longer. There you go, it went off. Let's swap the other one. See if the theft light go off. It went off. Just gonna make sure again it went off. Do it 3 times, make sure it goes off. I'm gonna put the other one back in there and make sure it goes off. Cool. Alright, I should be able to start it up. Cool. These keys are officially programmed. Now, it's depending on who you talk to, you know, it's gonna be like a couple different processes you go through. But I just cycle you're supposed to pull it out, pull the DLC connector out, and then cycle the key on and off 3 times. And then on the 3rd try, alternate between another key. I've seen people also alternate between keys, doing it a total of 6 times. But this is how I did mine, and it worked perfectly fine. So the car, as long as there are 2 keys and they're being alternated, the car is going to recognize the key, is the main thing. This car runs a lot better. Let's check it out. Alright, here's our current running conditions. There's no gargling noise coming from the air intake. And I'm going to go into my live data here. We'll look at our codes first. So they probably need to be erased. Let's look at our live data. Make sure our temperature sensor is working like it's supposed to. Again, the fans are not on. Axle ratio, barometric. Engine coolant temperature. Right there. No problem. 168 degrees. It idles a lot better. And again, like I was saying, if the car doesn't have good temperature, there's a lot of parameters that this car doesn't know about, and it's going to have really bad running conditions. Let me shut it down. Alright, cool. I got it shut down. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to let it go through a complete scan here, auto scan, and I'm just going to clear any codes in the module. Now I do want to provide some information on this car in particular. The generic control module is replaced. The generic control module is essentially the body control module. Let's see here. That was interchangeable even after the other computer, because I wanted to put everything that was original back on here to diagnose it properly, and I couldn't because of the computer. And you know what? In hindsight, I probably could have put the original computer in there if I would have put the VIN number in there, and that was totally my fault. But look, we got a new computer. It's a lesson learned. I was just overwhelmed with what I had going on. And even though I plugged the computer in originally and it wouldn't auto scan, that doesn't mean it was capable of being programmed. You just have to put the VIN number in there. My ignorance. So it probably would have worked with the original computer, but we got a new remanufactured one and there's no more questions asked. It's working like it's supposed to. The generic control module is interchangeable. You don't have to have like a VIN number or anything programming that. It just swaps right in. So they changed the generic control module, the computer, and the immobilizer. I'm not sure if they changed the cluster or not, but from what she told me, she didn't. And that is when all the problems arise. The wipers didn't work. The horn don't work. The radio didn't work. And it ran horribly. So I fixed the wipers. I fixed the radio because basically the fuse was missing. Fixed that. That works fine now. So the only thing that's left, I got to repair the horn because the clock spring is defective. A lot of times when people take the steering column out, it rotates several times and break those wires in there. It's a ribbon, like a ribbon strip of wires. It'll break. So that's fixed. The idling, all that's fixed. So we're just slowly making progress. I mean, the car went through a few different people, and it got to me. So I'm not self-grandizing, but you know, I'm really, people, you have to understand, I'm really going to invest the time to figure out what the fuck's going on with the car, because at least it's something we can communicate with. We just can't do it with people. So hey, but all right, went through I cleared everything, and I'm pretty sure the only thing that's coming up is because of the inspection, and I'm pretty sure that's all the codes we got. Like a P700 or some shit. I can't remember. U100. What was this? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Yeah, 1000. Yeah. Because of inspection, I can't remember. Man, ain't that bright. All right. Please, if you have any questions, hit it in the comment section, because hopefully I touched on a lot of things that people probably have gone through with this car. And the temperature sensor's location. This car had a bunch of drivability problems. Fan was on. PID data showed coolant temperature sensor being negative 40 degrees. I had no control over the intake manifold runner, if the damn thing does have one. I don't think it has one on here, to be honest with you. Gosh, AC didn't work that well. So all that is very important, all because of the coolant temperature sensor. That has a very important function. The generic control module, that was interchangeable despite the computer having one program, the generic control module having another programming. I was able to interchange them and not have any issues when diagnosing it. If the wipers don't work, if the radio don't work, your wiper fluid don't work, check and see if your fuse is missing or blown. The most important thing, these keys here. Okay, you have to have 2 keys to program this vehicle with your Alltel. Please don't do what I did and have only 1 key and waste 6 hours and go to Lowe's and get a defective key and waste 6 hours of like mental torment trying to program a dead key. It's like diagnosing a problem and you have a bad new part. Simple as that. And it happens. So the way to figure it out, again, is to go to the hybrid electronic cluster, HEC module, and look and see if the key is recognized in the PID data. If you have to clear them all, if you have to clear all the keys, it's going to be 0. All right. If you go to program 2 keys and only 1 key is being accepted, then logically one of those keys are defective. And if everything worked properly before the car got to you, and you had to go buy a key, it's very high, like a 99.999% chance that that new key that you got is bad. So please don't go through what I went through. And this video was a long time in the making, so I'm pretty sure this is some vital information, because I couldn't find this shit. I got to the point where I had to YouTube some stuff. Okay, like what the fuck am I doing? I had to YouTube some stuff, man. Tripping here. But look, this car is done. I'm going to take it on a test drive, get everything neatened back up, get the cosmetic stuff on here, and carry on with my life, because this is a chapter that is done with and is on the ether right now, Ethernet. And gosh, man, I can't begin to tell you. But look, hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, and have that reassurance in my work. See you on the next one.